The other thing too is you have to be careful what you put in there about your child. Like a lot of people don't realize like all the documentation that you put into the courts about your child, it can still affect you later because it is public record. Like somebody came and told me, you don't know what you're talking about, Veronica. It's not public record. I'm like, no, this is public record, unless
Oh, and
your
trying to
case
apply
is
for a job?
sealed. Yeah, unless your case is sealed, anybody out like they even told my mom the other day I had to have my mom go to court because I was having some trouble with my e-filing, right? So I had my mom take some court documents in there to file it for me. She goes, "Oh yeah, anybody can file anything on your case." My mom could file stuff on my case because I'm pro se and don't have an attorney. So
And they
like
just bully you.
I was blown away. Did you guys know that, Amanda and Chris, that anybody can file anything on your case?
Like, what do you mean? What could they file?
So
I guess I'm lost at that.
So I couldn't make it down to the courthouse because I was working, right? And I told my mom, I'm having trouble filing this motion, mom, or this paperwork. Can you take it to the courthouse for me? The clerk told her, well, yeah, she doesn't have a lawyer, so she's pro se, and her case is public record. So anybody can bring her documentations for her to file on her case is exactly what she told my mother. And I'm like,
Like the person at Starbucks go file for you.
I know, you can go file for me. I was like, what?
Very official, right?
I know. I was like, dang. I was like, that doesn't make sense at all. But and then in California, I know somebody, get this one, Chris. This is a doozy right here. This one. So I know somebody that's this guy that lives in California that's rich, rich. His wife does one of those, I guess you would say like a movie star, relationship where the spouse lives somewhere else and he lives here, right? And does all his business. So guess what he did? Guess what he did? He filed a divorce and it was granted. And he said he didn't know where his wife was. So it's actually legitimate.
That actually happened in the case before me.
Because you know why? Because when she finally figures it out, she's not going to have no access to any money, not going to be able to get a lawyer, nothing like that.
Right. They thrive on the legal ignorance of the public.
And he did it himself. He did it himself. He did not get a lawyer to do it. He did it pro se and filed the court stuff. And when we found out about it, we're like, wow. And this is somebody that we used to go to church with.
I don't know if it works the same here in Michigan, because I know even when I filed paperwork, they were very strict, like on what you file, what you can and what you can't file. They would tell me that you couldn't file this, and I'd have to fight them over it and stuff like that. So I'm not sure it's quite the same up here as what it is in California then. Because
well, in California, we can actually go into the courthouse and they have these computers. We can go into the courthouse and they have these computers where everything is public record. And so you can actually take pictures of the dockets that are on those computers. Why do you think in Hollywood they get a hold of all these documentations?
Not that in Texas, everything is hidden and behind closed doors and no oversight and, their judicial immunity operating in the best interest of a child.
That's Michigan, same thing.
Texas is, I used to live in Chicago and I moved to Texas when I started taking over supporting the family. Strange place, man.
Yeah, Texas is a lot. Yeah, Texas can be a lot. I have a relative that lives in Texas. One is a lawyer and one's a paralegal, so I know a lot about Texas and how it can be.
This is the dog they're taking. I'm getting him certified as an emotional support.
You do whatever you can to protect yourself and your stuff,
I'm living alone in a 4,000 square foot home, broke. The home is $1 million home, and they wouldn't allow me to sell it since August. I've been trying to get them to. They wouldn't let me use my own realtor. Insisted on using their receiver. So it's like, and then they did this.
where are you at?
I'm in Dallas, Texas, but it's Collin County.
Collin County,
Wow.
yeah, in Texas.
And this is my separate property that my family gifted. So it disputes the community of property, it rebuts it. And the person who gifted to me testified in court as to the intention of his gift. And they gave it away. They stole it from me. It's extortion.
Yeah.
And then we pay all the
Well, the
legal
whole
fees.
family court system's extortion.
It is. We have to get a RICO case together.
Yeah. Well, there are
Like many
a lot of
people that can, do the same thing at the same time is the strongest approach. Everything that's going on, we should all attack all at once.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping to do. We're trying to work on something like that. But we have a couple of people in our group that are already at the federal court, but we're trying to get it down so that we know how to do it. Exactly, you know,
Have you heard of
because
Robert Garza?
it's yeah, Robert Garza is pretty cool. Yeah, but he does a lot of legislation like passing bills and stuff like that. But to actually do the RICOs and like file at the federal court level, it's a lot. Like I'm working with like probably about 3 people, right, Amanda? I think we're working with like 3 people. And then there's a couple of us that are working on trying to figure out how to file our own case, but they're kind of like they're going in there first and we're seeing if they're successful with their stuff. Like there's some starting at the state level. We're thinking that you have to start at the state level. And like you said, Amanda had done some research, like the civil, you go the civil route. And then once you do the civil route and the state levels, then you go up to the federal courts. But we have quite a few. I think there's almost 4, isn't there? Right? I don't want to give out names, but there's 4, right, Amanda? Yeah, we have 4.
So yeah, start like she said, starting at the civil level, but like in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay the foundation, showing the collusion between my in-laws, how they worked with the police department that they were friends with, because my ex-father-in-law worked for the county. They had a big business in the county that brought in a lot of money, tax-wise, and how everything was set up. So there's a lot of setbacks for me because of judicial immunity. So what I have to do is I have to lay the foundation by civilly going after my ex-in-laws and suing them first, and then kind of going from there and then working my way up, because I have to lay that base. I have to lay that foundation of how it started, when it started, who was involved in what, and then I can move forward to the next level and then the next level, because I'm not going to stop just at my in-laws. I'm going after the county. I'm going after everyone.
So what are you suing the in-laws for? What are your grounds?
My child was removed from my home illegally. They said that no CPS was involved, nothing was involved. My father-in-law was sitting out about 3 streets down. My mother-in-law was on the phone with the police saying that I was supposed to be on medication. My daughter was in danger. I was threatening to off myself, all these things. And none of it was true. When they got there, my oldest daughter and her friend were sleeping. All the kids were sleeping. I went to go pick up my friend's dogs because I dog sat. And they knew, because the guy that was there was an over-the-road driver, and I used to watch his dogs, and he worked for that company. So they had it all figured out how they were going to do it. And it's all in the CAD report. Everything was there. They tried not to give me that, and I ended up getting it. So it's all
that to me. My daughter is conspired and colluded with my ex.
Yeah.
They thought I was going to get committed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, no.
It's just laying that main foundation, and then I work from there. So that's my focus